The M1A1 Abrams tank is a symbol of modern armored warfare, representing a significant leap in technology and combat capability since its inception. The history of the M1A1 Abrams begins with the development of its predecessor, the M1 Abrams, and spans several decades of innovation and combat experience. Early development and the M1 Abrams. The origins of the M1 Abrams trace back to the early 1970s, when the US Army recognized the need for a new main battle tank, MBT, to replace the aging M60 Patton series. The design goals for this new tank were ambitious. It needed to be faster, better protected, and more lethal than any existing MBT. The XM1 project was initiated in 1972, involving intense competition between Chrysler Defense, later General Dynamics Land Systems, and General Motors. The Chrysler design, which ultimately won the competition, featured a revolutionary design with a 105 mm M68 rifled cannon, composite armor known as Chobham, and a powerful gas turbine engine. The M1 Abrams entered service in 1980, setting new standards for mobility, protection, and firepower. Transition to the M1A1. Despite the M1 Abrams' advanced capabilities, the Army quickly identified areas for improvement. The most significant change was the upgrade to a more powerful 120 mm smoothbore cannon, the M256, developed by Rheinmetall of Germany. This upgrade provided the M1A1 with superior firepower, capable of defeating the latest Soviet armor at longer ranges. Additionally, the M1A1 incorporated enhanced armor protection, particularly against kinetic energy penetrators and chemical energy threats. The new armor package included depleted uranium layers, which significantly increased the tank's ability to withstand hits from enemy munitions. The M1A1 also saw improvements in its fire control system, incorporating advanced thermal imaging and a laser rangefinder, which enhanced its targeting accuracy and night fighting capabilities. These upgrades allowed the M1A1 to engage targets effectively at greater distances and under various combat conditions. Production and deployment. The M1A1 Abrams entered production in 1985, with the first units delivered to the US Army in 1986. The new tank quickly became the backbone of US armored forces, replacing the earlier M1 models and older M60 tanks. The M1A1 saw its first major combat deployment during Operation Desert Storm in 1991. The performance of the M1A1 in the Gulf War was nothing short of spectacular. The tank's superior firepower, advanced armor, and mobility allowed US forces to dominate Iraqi armor in the desert. The M1A1 proved its worth in engagements such as the Battle of 73 Easting, where it outperformed the Soviet-era T-72SS fielded by Iraqi forces. Further enhancements and variants. Following its success in Desert Storm, the M1A1 continued to evolve. The M1A1D variant incorporated digital data links and a battlefield management system, enhancing the situational awareness and coordination capabilities of armored units. The M1A1HC Heavy Common featured further improvements in armor and electronic systems, making it one of the most formidable tanks in service. The tank's engine, the Honeywell AGT 1500 gas turbine, also saw upgrades to improve reliability and fuel efficiency, addressing one of the primary criticisms of the original design. Here are its key specifications. General specifications. Type: main battle tank. Country of origin: United States. Manufacturer: General Dynamics Land Systems. Dimensions: length 32.04 feet, 9.77 meter, including gun. Width 12 feet, 3.66 meter. Height 8 feet, 2.44 meter. Weight 67.6 tons, 61.3 metric tons. Armament. Main gun, 120mm M256 smoothbore cannon. Secondary armament, 1 X.50 caliber, 12.7mm M2 HB machine gun, 2 X 7.62mm M240 machine guns. Ammunition capacity, 40 rounds for the main gun, 900 rounds for the .50 caliber machine gun, 10,400 rounds for the 7.62mm machine guns. Mobility, engine, Honeywell AGT 1500. Maximum speed, 45 miles per hour, 72 kilometers per hour, on road, 30 miles per hour, 48 kilometers per hour, off-road. Operational range, 265 miles, 426 kilometers, with internal fuel. Armor, Chobham armor. Protection includes depleted uranium mesh for enhanced armor protection. Crew, 4, commander, gunner, loader, driver. Additional features, fire control system, Hughes ANVESG-2, tank thermal sight, TTTS, Raytheon fire control system, NBC protection, nuclear, biological and chemical protection system, night vision, thermal imaging, major conflicts, Operation Desert Storm, 1991. Deployment, over 1,800 M1A1 tanks were deployed during the Gulf War. Performance. The M1A1 proved highly effective against Iraqi forces, achieving a high kill ratio due to its superior firepower, armor, and advanced targeting systems. Outcome. The success in the Gulf War solidified the M1A1's reputation as one of the best main battle tanks in the world. The M1A1 Abrams has also been exported to several US allies, including Australia, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia, further cementing its status as a premier MBT on the global stage. The Australian Army, for instance, adopted the M1A1 in the mid-2000s, significantly enhancing its armored capabilities. Deployment: M1A1 tanks were deployed to Bosnia and Kosovo during the NATO interventions in the Balkans. Role: they provided ground support and deterrence, although their use in direct combat was limited. Operation Iraqi Freedom, 2003 to 2011. Deployment: the M1A1 was again heavily deployed in Iraq, with several hundred tanks involved in the initial invasion and subsequent occupation. Performance: the M1A1 faced challenges such as urban combat and insurgency tactics, but it remained a key asset due to its mobility, protection, and firepower. Ukraine. The M1A1 Abrams tanks, donated by the United States to Ukraine, have seen significant action since their deployment. Here's an overview of their performance in the conflict, deployment, and initial engagements. First, combat deployment. The M1A1 Abrams tanks were first deployed in combat by the Ukrainian 47th Separate Mechanized Brigade on February 23, 2024. These tanks have been used against Russian forces, marking a significant milestone for Ukraine's armored capabilities. Advanced armor upgrades. The tanks have been enhanced with advanced armor to improve their battlefield resilience, reflecting the need to adapt to the challenging combat environment in Ukraine. Battlefield performance. Battle of Berdichi. In early March 2024, during the battle at Berdichi near Avdiivka, the Ukrainian 47th Mechanized Brigade lost 3 M1A1 Abrams tanks. This represented a notable loss, but also highlighted the intensity of the fighting. Avdiivka engagements. By late March, reports confirmed the destruction of 4 Abrams tanks in the vicinity of Avdiivka, amounting to a significant percentage of the Abrams tanks in Ukrainian service. Despite these losses, the Ukrainian forces claimed the tanks played a crucial role in halting the Russian advance, inflicting heavy casualties and material losses on the Russian side. Tactical and operational insights. Doctrinal challenges. Analysts have pointed out that the effectiveness of advanced weapon systems like the M1A1 Abrams heavily depends on how well they are integrated into the existing military doctrine. The Ukrainian forces, still transitioning from Soviet-style tactics, face challenges in fully leveraging the capabilities of these Western tanks. Proper training and adaptation to Western armored warfare doctrine are critical for maximizing their effectiveness. Overall impact. The deployment of the M1A1 Abrams in Ukraine underscores both the potential and the challenges of integrating advanced Western military technology into the Ukrainian armed forces. While the tanks have demonstrated their capability to significantly impact the battlefield, their effectiveness is closely tied to the tactical proficiency and doctrinal adaptation of the Ukrainian military. Global impact and legacy. The M1A1 Abrams has also been exported to several US allies, including Australia, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia, further cementing its status as a premier MBT on the global stage. The Australian Army, for instance, adopted the M1A1 in the mid-2000s, significantly enhancing its armored capabilities. The legacy of the M1A1 Abrams is profound. Its design philosophy, combining heavy firepower, advanced armor, and high mobility, influenced the development of subsequent MBTs worldwide. The M1A1's performance in combat demonstrated the effectiveness of Western tank design principles and reshaped armored doctrine in numerous countries. Conclusion: the M1A1 Abrams has also been exported to several US allies, including Australia, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia, further cementing its status as a premier MBT on the global stage. The Australian Army, for instance, adopted the M1A1 in the mid-2000s, significantly enhancing its armored capabilities.